46. Verses 1 through 7. Psalms 46, verses 1 through 7.
Call from shelter TX. Call from shelter TX.
I'm thankful for Geneva filling in as an AV person this morning.
All right. Come on, AV. Get it.
I'm not sure.
Have it rolling, girl.
All right, this is to the chief musician for the Sons of Korah, which really makes a difference, as we'll see later on. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore will not we fear, though the earth be removed, and though the mountains be carried into the midst of the sea, though the waters thereof roar and be troubled, though the mountains shake with the swelling thereof. Selah. There is a river, the streams whereof shall make glad the city of God, the holy place of the tabernacles of the Most High. God is in the midst of her. She shall not be moved. God shall help her, and that right early. The heathen raged, the kingdoms were moved. He uttered his voice, and the earth melted. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge. Selah.
Amen.
So as I was reading through this passage and looking at some of the words and what they meant, I found it interesting that the word refuge also means shelter. And so I thought that it would be appropriate to title this Shelter in Place.
All right.
So it starts out with God is. Not he was, but God is, which means right now. That's important because sometimes people think, oh, well, you know, that was back then. The Bible is old-fashioned. It doesn't apply to today. But it says God is, which indicates to me that it's for right now as well. And then it says God is our refuge and strength. And as I said before, the word refuge means shelter. It's a safe place. A lot of times, you know, sometimes we may run to other things. You know, what do people running to today? They're running to their knowledge. They're running to the scientists. They're running to politicians. But God is the one who is in control. And he is the one who is our protector. And he is the one where we find refuge or shelter. But it also says that he is our strength. And I was like, okay, that's interesting because if I'm sheltered, if I'm in a place of refuge, that means right now I don't have any strength, and I really don't have to have any because there's someone else who is protecting me. So if it says that he is my strength, then that's referring for those times when we are outside of the shelter, when, you know, there are times when you got to fight one-on-one. There are times when you have to really get into the arena. And during those times, he will be our shelter. He will be our strength. He will give us our might and our power. It comes from him. Then it says that he is a very present help in trouble. So again, present on one hand means today, right now. So again, this is not just back in the day, you know, when our mothers, our grandmothers would talk about how God helped back in the day and that he's just gone silent. No, this is even now. Hey, I see that Deshaun's in the waiting room. All right, so present also means the present help means a help that's found, a help that's available, a help that's right there. And very isn't just a little bit, but an abundance of help in the time of trouble. Now, this word trouble can also refer to tightness. That's where its root comes from. Don't you feel sometimes when you're in trouble that you have your back up against the wall, that you feel constricted, during those times? And so it's during those times when we feel that we're back cornered, that we're tightened up, that we're bound, that he is our help. Therefore, as a result of all this, we will not fear. And so it's not just we will not have fear, but it's like a verb. We won't operate in fear. So we feel afraid, but we're not operating in that fear. And we see a lot where where there are those who are operating in fear. But it says, because we know that the Lord is our refuge or our shelter, because we know that he is our strength, because we know that he's our right now help, then we operate or to live in fear. And they talked about though. There are 4 instances of though, which means not if, but when. It's the no matter what. Though the earth be removed, and though the mountains be carried into the midst of the sea, though the waters thereof roar and be troubled, though the mountains shake with the swelling thereof, though there's an enemy that we cannot see. Now, we talk about the new. No, it's not. We have always known that there's an enemy that we cannot see.
Amen.
So, this may be a way to reach out to others who perhaps have been thinking about faith, have been thinking about Christ, or thinking about what else is there. And so now we have another thing that we can use to show them that we have an enemy that is constantly against us. We're not able to see him, but he's there. Remember back in the day when there was the coronavirus, because it's something to be back in the day, like the Spanish flu and the plague, that there was an enemy and virus that we couldn't see, but just because we couldn't see it didn't mean that it didn't have an effect on individuals. We have an enemy that though we may not be able to see him, he does have an effect, or he can have an effect on the way that others operate in the world. But because we are part of the kingdom of God, we are able to recognize God has given us his spirit, and we are able to recognize, if we will open our eyes, if we will follow the leading of the Holy Spirit, when this enemy has come against us. So no matter what, and all of these different things that he's talking about are like nature. When it seems like you're feels like has just turned upside down. It's like those things which we felt connected to, then it's those have been kind of moved out of place, and we have to seek new ways. But it says no matter what, even when it seems like everything is turned upside down, we will not fear. And then it says, Selah, which means meditate on that. Think about that. Think about God being your shelter. For those times when you feel like you go another step, think about him being your strength. When you feel like you're in it all by yourself, think about the fact that he is a very present help, even and especially in the time of trouble. And there is no need to fear. Though the iPad keeps disconnecting and reconnecting, the message will still get out. Now, I just want to bring in these sons of Korah that it mentions in the introduction in terms of who's going to be singing this. There was when Moses and Moses leading the children of Israel out of Egypt, then there was a rebellion, and there were three gentlemen who led the rebellion, and one of them was named Korah. And so Moses had asked them to come and talk to him, and only one would, and that was Korah. So Moses went to them, and he told the people, y'all might need to move out the way, get away from their tents, because and so he said, now, if these men die the way they can do, natural causes or whatever, then I am not who I proclaim to be. I am not one who listens to God. I'm not a prophet. However, if the Lord does something new, like open the earth up and swallow it and then close back over, then others will know that I do speak on behalf of God. And just then, the ground opened up and it swallowed. Including Korah, but it tells us specifically, but the sons of Korah did not die. The sons of Korah did not die. And so wouldn't they know about the earth shaking and things just turning upside down? They would have known about that. They would have seen that. So the descendants of those who watched their ancestors, their father, be swallowed up by the earth, they could sing this. What is the song that you could sing? Oh, there's one out now that something has to break. When the spirit is in the room, something has to break. Right. Is that the song that you can sing? Or is it Amazing Grace? How sweet the sound. You remember when you were lost and now you were found. Is that the song that you're able to sing? They could sing this song. They knew about the earth swallowing up. They could give testimony that no matter what happens, that God will still see you through. And not only that, there's this piece. Sometimes people will look at you and judge you based on your peoples. And you know that there may be some, oh, you son of Korah, oh, I remember your daddy, your great-granddaddy, your great-great-granddaddy was one of the ones that rebelled against Moses. But this is the one for whom the song is written. So it's not about our peoples in that sense, but whether or not we love God and are called according to his purpose. after they thought about it and meditated, he's like, here's the next piece. God is in the midst of her. She shall not be moved. God shall help her, and that right early. In some versions, it's written at the dawn, which means you just have to go through the night, but morning is coming. And so it's not about weeks later, months later, decades later. In this case, it's by the time the morning comes, you'll be able to see a change. The heathen raged, the kingdoms were moved. He uttered his voice, the earth melted. So it's like all these other folks, they can get all upset, and we see kingdoms and nations shifting boundaries, all this noise, talking and everything. Say God just has to speak, and the earth melts. The inhabitants faint. But the Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge. So the Lord of hosts, the Lord who's over the angel armies, that one is with us. The Lord who created the heavens and the earth, that one is with us. The one who put the sun in the sky in the morning and the moon to rule by night, that one. The one who was able to keep us when we could not keep ourselves, that one. The one that kept Daniel when he was in the lion's den, that one. The one who kept the 3 Hebrew boys when they said, you know what, the Lord is able to save us, but even if he's not, we don't even have to think about an answer to you. We will not bow. That's the one who raised Christ from the dead. That is the one who is with us. And if he is with us, he is more than the world against us. Who shall we fear? What shall we fear? And it says the God of Jacob is our refuge. And whenever I see Jacob, you know, then it's like, focus on that, because he had 2 names, you know. Just like Abram was a follower of God, but when you put the in there, that Abraham, that H, then it means the father of many nations. At first he wasn't, but then when God changed his name, and so you have the God of Jacob, who is the trickster, the one who grabs the heel, the deceiver. And then you have, after his name change, Israel, the one who is the 12 tribes, you know. This says the God of Jacob is our refuge, which means he's the God of those of us who may not have it all together right now. We're still in our Jacob moment. You know, sometimes we act like Israel, and we walk in wisdom and all that kind of thing. But other times, you know, we're a little thrown off. And this God is our refuge. He will be our refuge even when we don't have it all together. You know, so for those things, but you know, I got to get right first before I come to what this says. Not when you don't have it all together, then he is our refuge. And so I just wanted to share some words of encouragement today, that no matter what's going on around us, that the Lord is our refuge or our shelter. The Lord is our strength. He is a very present help in the time of trouble. Doesn't matter what's going on. And we don't have to have it all together, but God is our refuge. That God who created the heaven and earth, who raised Christ from the dead, and Christ is coming back. We have this opportunity. The nation is as strong as its weakest family. We have a chance to become stronger as families, to become closer to God as families. And we
Amen.
talked about loving our neighbors. As I said, we've had a lot of time to get to know our neighbors as we walk in our neighborhoods. And when this is lifted and we talk about, I can't wait to go back to normal, I pray that we don't. I pray that we are more compassionate, that we are more loving, and that we are more apt to seek God as our refuge and to realize that He is our strength. God bless you.
Amen. Amen.